Welcome back to part 3, guys. I'm going to do bits and pieces on the van today. I will do bits and pieces on Felix as well at some point. As I said, a bit of machine polishing. I've got to do machine polishing on the van today. So it's actually this side I've got to do. I've done some bits on the other, but I've done it off camera just because, frankly, I just wanted to crack on with it. I have taken the doors out. Sorry, the door seals out and the windows out, so they've been naturally done. Sorry, make this less wobbly because I know Cole had to go at me for it. So the seals, the original seals on the door, I've had this out, had the entire rail out from the inside of it. I've cleaned all the glass, I've cleaned the rails, and the amount of crap that came off it was absolutely surreal. So that's all been done. The wing mirrors have been cleaned and re-put back on. And inside here, so if you actually remove the Mark 1 rail completely, and the seal, there's like a little cavity. It's only probably about 1 inch wide by about 1/2 inch deep. I've actually used some Dynex UC. So those of you watching Mark Draper's ERA on Keith's channel, you'll see Mark being using the Dynex S50 and the UC. This stuff is absolutely brilliant. If you've got a Mini and you haven't got some of this, get some of it. It usually comes with, the lance is usually a lot longer, usually about a foot. I've cut it down so I can actually use it in more smaller areas. But I doused the inside of the doors with this. It just gives the car a bit of longevity. So I've done that on both the driver and the passenger door, so they're all done. One of the things we'll get on today is rehanging this door, because as it comes off, it's a bit of it hits just before, so just need to play about with the hinges. I've got new gaskets and I've got washers for behind it, so that's something else to do. I'm going to talk about the bonnet and the new hinges that I've got for that. A few other bits and pieces that I've bought, but we'll go through. So I think the first thing is we'll get the van outside and we'll do some machine polishing. As the van only just needs the minor swirls taken out, it just needs finishing. So this is a Hex Logic finishing pad. It was white. It has become red because of this thing. And I'm using Ultra Finishing Polish 205, and this is my go-to choice before I go to any of the shows and stuff. I give Felix the once over with this pad and essentially the finishing polish. You just got to be very, very careful with this, and I'll explain in another episode when I do more to Felix as to why. But in the meantime, we'll do some stuff with the van. And there we go, fully machine polished. Okay, so like the bumper, there's a lot of surface rust on these, so a bit of wire wool and some vinegar. Get right in the gaps where you can, and down the bottom where it's exceptionally susceptible. Then cloth. Without having to go all the way down the back, because you don't really need to. I'm pretty pleased with that. So I'll get the ring on. There you go, for less than 2 minutes work, headlight looks a million times better. A job I've done on all my Minis in the past, including Felix, is fitting a lowered steering column bracket. These are readily available on eBay. I'm pretty sure I paid about £25 for this, and it's a very similar one to the one I've got on Little Red Beast as well. So it's a straightforward modification if you can get the carpets up, because you need to slacken the U-bolts in the steering rack. But there's a bolt here, which is usually a shear bolt, but this hasn't sheared, which has made my life a lot easier. And there's two just underneath there as well, if I can get one just there and one just here as well. So I've had a look so far, and they look to be 13mm. I thought it might be 1/2 inch. So undo all of those, and then I'll show you where to undo on the under the carpet. So behind the brake pedal under the carpet, you've got two nuts, and they're exactly the same on the other side as well, relatively the same position. You slacken these off, and it's a U-bolt, and it's actually holding the steering rack to a mount on the other side of the footplate. So with those slackened right off, and now the bolt's relatively loose, I'll undo those, and we'll go from there. With a bit of argument, it went on. So the bolts are the original ones back on. I've had to spacer that one just a little bit, and I've put a new nut with a lock ring on that side as well. The other parts, the other U-bolt clamps for the steering rack are there, so just in case for reference anybody wanted to know. So they've all been done up. That's all done up now, and now sitting in the van. The steering wheel is in a much nicer place now, so when you're driving it's a bit lower, and for me, because I'm a short arse, the steering wheel is no longer up in front of the windscreen, and it's more of a racing finish as well. So yeah, nice straightforward modification, that one, and takes about half an hour to do, but definitely worth it. Okay, so I've moved the door car from the van. What I'm intending to do is take these off anyway and put proper sheets in here, because you've still got the tinny and then a bit of mass loaded vinyl behind. So the next thing for me to do is have a play with the hinges and see if I can straighten them up, because I'm still getting a bit of bowing on the top one, and the bottom one seems to be alright, but I'm going to put the new gaskets in and have it properly sealed. Also, I've noticed when I took them off, the Mark 1s have got these pipes that go up in here for drainage. This one, actually on this door, they don't actually go to anything. I've hoovered it out at the moment. There's a bit of rust down here, so I'm going to use a couple of brushes, clean out as much as I can, and then get the Dynax in there. So hopefully I can get this in enough. User error. Good old Vax. So this is the Dynax S50 to make sure I've got some pressure. Cool. Then everywhere. Actually comes out. Do down there as well, and you can see it bubbling away, and that's going to go right into the grooves in there, so that should hope keep it clean, a bit of longevity, which is what it needs. So I'll give that a couple of minutes and I'll re-soak it. I don't know what to do about those these pipes though. I'll have to have a think. Right, so I've installed these large 30mm penny washers. They're not that thick, so they actually bend quite easily as well, so not too much damage on the outside. So from this side, yes, there's a little dent where it originally was, but I've put a new gasket in there. But in general, if I close the door, and it is lined up now, that's looking a lot better, a lot sleeker. I'm not going to do a great deal about the dent, unfortunately. It's just one of those part and parcel things of having a Mark 1 by the sounds of it. I'm going to maybe do this one, but I've got to take the wheel off or jack it up to get to it, so I might do it inside the garage. But so far, really happy with that one. I'm just going to do the lower one because the gasket looks like it's about to fall out, so I'll get that sorted. Unfortunately, the weather took a turn for the worst, so I've come inside. All the gaskets have been done now. They are a little bit on the big side, so you can see there's a little bit over there and a little bit over there. There's nothing a sharp Stanley knife can't cure. But the main thing is they're on quite nicely now, and the bulge there seems to have gone. There's a little bit, I think there's a rust underneath there, but I'm not sure. So what I've done to explain is on the inside, these 30mm washers had helped spread the load, because before this I think it's about 11 or 12mm washer was up against the skin, and it was actually causing it to pull in towards to the hinge. So that spreads the load better. I've put 2 on that one to help pull it a little bit more flat. Again, more of these, but they'll come off. Yeah, I've done more waxing in there and all the way up the top, so that's another thing. Also, I've done on these, I've given them a good dosing with 3-in-1, and now they work really well. But the big thing on this one, so because this was knocking against the inside here, I don't know if it'll focus on it properly, or if I come around, you can probably see the tape on here and a bit of a mark there. This tape was put in to stop the door from hitting it. So after playing a bit and moving around hinges and opening up, I have now fully working door. So really pleased with that one. Got to do a small minor adjustment to make sure it actually seals and it's watertight. But apart from that, I think that's it for today. So again, guys, girls, thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below, and I'll see you hopefully in part 4.